Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Two Gamer Dads podcast. It's been a long while since we had a guest. I think the last time Marv and I spent an exorbitant amount of time debating on what is the best top five Marvel movies. But today we have a special guest, and he is none other than Kristian. Hi, Kristian.
Hello.
Everyone.
All right. So how's maybe I'll just start off by asking how's everybody doing?
Pretty good. Chris, you wanna go first?
Sure, yeah. Pretty good. Been trying to clear leave, but a lot of my leave, as Marv would know, has been spent.
Hey, I
And
can't hear that. Do you hear?
Oh,
Say
you,
again.
you you cut off at the end.
You
cut
cut
off. Okay.
off.
I think it's my mic placement. Sorry about that. As I was saying, I've been trying to clear my leave, but a lot of it has been spent wedding planning. So we're set. I think Fiance and I have set on our butts for a while because we've been engaged for a year now, and not
Oh.
much. We've not done much yet. So I think with 1 year to go to the wedding, we're trying to ramp that up and start to get things sorted.
Yeah, very soon,
Yeah,
right?
so we're busy with
November.
that. Yeah,
next year.
November of next year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, you actually planned to be engaged for 2 years.
Yes, and that was even kind of before COVID
Yeah.
happened. Like we talked about that, but all the more so like COVID kind of convinced us, or maybe it just
Yeah.
made more sense to kind of wait, see how it rides out. Hopefully,
Yeah.
the tax restrictions are lifted. But yeah, we wanted to maybe let the backlog of other people's weddings, which weren't able to happen, and they're clearing that right now. We don't want to compete with that. But yeah, so we wanted to kind of see how the pandemic plays out. Hopefully restrictions are lifted, and hopefully have more packs at our wedding lah.
Yeah. Well, your wedding invitations macam like my Steam backlog, right? Must let them clear first.
Pretty much.
Okay,
What's the
so
cap now?
yes,
200 people, right?
Currently,
Yeah.
it's
I
100.
I actually think it's less than 200 at
150.
the moment.
150
I
maybe.
think it's
Thereabouts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on really the venue capacity, and
yeah,
they still have the 3 meter space between groups and stuff. So
yeah,
it's definitely still not pre-COVID.
yeah.
Mm. Mm.
But it's not just the total max number. It's also the way you can interact, right? Because if you can't cross through tables, you're
Yeah.
literally just stuck to your table. So even if you
Yeah.
can group your group of friends who you can fill 5 tables with, they can't talk to anybody other than the people in their own table, right?
Correct.
Pretty much,
Correct.
yeah.
Yep.
So it's in this case, it's kind of actually better if it's smaller, because then you can keep that circle a little bit smaller, right? In a sense, they can all be on the same table, people who know each other.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think that's one perk. But weddings I feel could potentially get a bit. You take away the vibrancy and the spontaneity of the wedding,
Oh,
and
sure.
being able to mingle with other guests, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the more so why
For sure.
we
For sure.
decided to, push it back a bit.
Yeah.
So are you like you must have your wedding perfect kind of like
Um,
couple?
Not so much. I would give. I think what's the textbook answer, and to be fair, I really do mean it. As long as my future wife is happy with it, that's all I can ask
Yeah.
for. That would be the perfect wedding to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really all I can ask for.
Okay. Yeah. I thought my wife sometimes will ask me, parents will ask me, would you like get married again? And I would say I would marry you in a heartbeat. Like I would, but I would not want to go through the wedding again.
That's what I hear too. And I was jokingly, I ran this idea by Vivian the other day. I was
Yeah.
just saying, why we renew our vows every 10 years? And she was like,
Like,
what for? Why do we need that? I was like, okay, just
I mean, you can still renew your vows. You just don't need to have a ceremony about it. I mean, I renew my vows
yeah,
with Marian every year, but it's like it's different when you like hold hand, wear the dress.
yeah.
Does she want to wear the dress? Okay,
As long as
okay,
you can
cool.
fit
Are
into
you?
the same dress and suit 10 years from
No
now.
way. No way.
Yeah, no way, man.
No way. In 10 years, no way. Do,
I still have
yeah.
my wedding suits from for my
Really?
wedding like 6 years ago, right? So I had two suits which I customized, like, tailored to me. Uh, I tried
I
I tried
can't
wearing one
have.
of them recently.
How
No,
did that
no
work
go,
out?
no go.
No,
Cannot even buckle.
I couldn't wear it almost a year after I bought it. after I tailored it.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing about custom suits. Is that once you grow a little bit, like that's it already. It
Yeah.
doesn't fit well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, it doesn't make sense to tailor. But anyway, how about Mark? How about you?
A bit busy at work because there's this like huge audit coming up
Uh,
next month for me, like the second week.
Mm.
So my few or rather my organization, they have this thing called CARF, CARF lah, which is like this American standard of auditing, where they audit rehab facilities, rehab organizations lah. So it's for us it can be either 1, 2, or 3 years. So depending on
as in the frequency.
how well you do.
Oh.
If you do very well, they give you like 3 years of accreditation. Yeah.
Okay.
So my company has always gotten 3 years. So this is the second time that I'm been involved lah, in this
Mm.
thing. Yeah. So they're coming like I think 7th of December. So everyone's been scrambling to get your paperwork in order, that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Yeah. So they used to come down, like they used to fly like 2 Americans down. Then we like host them for a week. Then they'll go to all the centers, then they'll tour, they'll flip your files and all that. But because of COVID, right? So this time it's very different. Yeah. So because of COVID, they can't physically come, right? Not they have to like quarantine for like 2 weeks, that kind of stuff. So this year everything's virtual.
Oh.
Yeah. So like they go on a virtual tour around the center,
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then they talk to the staff, like they interview staff through like Microsoft Teams. Yeah. In a way, I guess it's better, also less stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you control what?
Correct. Yeah. You control what
Yeah.
you see.
Oh, don't
Yeah.
see this. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So I've been arrowed for my center to be the person that's going to be interviewed. Yeah. Because I'm the senior staff there, right? Yeah. But it doesn't mean that I will be chosen, because on that day itself they may say, I want to speak to your most junior staff.
Another one. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see lah. Because the last few times that they came, the last like 2 times they came that I've been involved, they asked for the most junior staff. Yeah, because they want to know that even your most junior staff knows what's going on. Yeah. So quite cool lah. I mean, today we had an internal audit just to make sure everything's in order.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was forced to go to office, sadly.
Oh no, poor you, Marv. Cannot game at home.
Yeah. Yeah lah, that's mainly it for me. Besides, gaming stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You? Yeah.
For
we
me,
all know.
it's been a bad week. No, there's so many things that happened. Okay, so firstly, not even talking about the latest event. I injured my back recently. So like last Friday, no, so the 2 weeks ago, Friday, I injured my back to the point where like I couldn't bend down to pick something up. And I've been training CrossFit, like heavy weights, for I don't know, 6 years. I've never had this kind of injury before. So initially I thought to myself, it's like DOMS, delayed onset muscle syndrome. Usually after 3-4 days, it'll go away, but it didn't. So like on a week later, I started to be suspicious. Or maybe it's slip disc, because then slip disc you need to go through a whole range of surgeries, and if it's very serious. And then I went to the doctor, but doctor said that as long as you don't feel any like numbness or shooting pain down your leg, you should be okay. So now I'm kind of doing physio. So every day I gotta do some rehab drills, but it feels weird because I can't exercise as much as I want to. So that's number one. Number two, Rebecca fell sick. So Rebecca's birthday, my daughter's birthday, was on the 24th of November. So that's a week ago. Not a week, 5 days ago. And like literally the day after her birthday, she had a fever of 38.3 or something like that. Yeah, and
wow.
it spiked.
Wow.
It spiked. I think 2 days ago it was 39.1. Like we literally pick her up, and from the cot, right? And you can feel she's like a microwave. Like that's the amount of heat she generates. And usually, and because she's sick, right? It's a crappy feeling to feel sick. So she also feels it, right? So when I pick up in the morning, right, she's not happy to see me. She's like screaming her head off. She's totally like, and then when Marion comes out of the room, like after she wakes up, Rebecca will like crawl really fast to mommy and like ask her to carry. Like when she's sick, she just sits there and just stares very pathetically at mom. Like, okay, you can pick me now, I guess.
Oh man.
So that was a sucky feeling. kind of like you don't, as a father, you're just like, what can I do? And then like we brought her to because Marianne thought it was UTI. Usually when you have fever without any cough or any like other symptoms, it's urinary tract infection.
Mhm.
So we went to the doctor. Then the doctor immediately said, "You want to go KKA&E?"
Oh wow.
And Marianne was like, "No," because okay, Marianne used to work at KKA&E.
Yeah.
So she's like, "There's no way I'm going to go to KKA&E on a Saturday morning.
She
It's going
knows
to be
how bad it
flooded."
is. Yeah.
Yeah, she knows how bad it is. And to be fair, Rebecca is not that bad to the point where like she needs to go A&E.
Mm.
So like we waited for eventually, right? It's so funny. The doctor panicked a little bit, right? So he was like, he didn't know what to do. He ordered the normal urine sample, but Rebecca didn't pee the whole morning, so she can't get the urine sample. So in the end, Marion was like messaging her doctor friend, like the head doctor of A&E, KK, and the doctor said, "How about we just get a blood test just to confirm whether it's viral or bacterial?"
Mm.
And it turned out it's viral lah, so you can't take antibiotics anyway.
Yep.
So that was it. And then of course the big news is that Japan closed their borders. Okay, we'll talk about that later during the news lah. I don't want to I don't want to go into a rant. So let's
Let's
stop
not
me
start
if I
with
go
bad
into a
news.
rant.
Let's not start with
Yes.
bad news.
Yeah, okay. But before I go any further, I realized that I forgot to introduce Kristian and what he does. So maybe we just ask Kristian, can you just introduce yourself? Don't need to give too much information if you don't want to. Just kind of say who you are, how you know Marv or and I, like that kind of stuff.
So I'm a lawyer, extremely passionate about gaming, football, fishing, and good food. I know Marv because well, he's my older cousin, and he is one of the few individuals who I have the credit for bringing me down the rabbit hole that is gaming. And he
Blame your
failed
brother,
me
man.
for ages. My brother, of course, and the other cousin, Ian. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've always, I game because it's how I keep in touch with my cousins, keep in touch with my friends. It's always been that social aspect has always been very important to me.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why it's really one of my favorite hobbies.
Mm.
I honestly I credit gaming for helping me keep in touch with my cousins. we,
If not, you
we
will never see them.
yeah, all just for the festive occasions, Chinese New Year,
Yeah, I think
Christmas,
so.
the usual,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think not for gaming, I wouldn't even be really in contact with you guys. Because we're not
Yeah.
direct cousins, right?
Yeah.
We're once removed. So I don't know. I think we see each other only during like once in a while in Chinese New Year and maybe funerals.
Yeah.
I mean, as sad as that sounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a festive occasion, but
Yeah.
okay. Oh, okay. Okay, we'll talk a little bit more about your how you got into lawyering. How you got into law. But usually what we usually talk about is some news, and there has been a lot of juicy news recently. So I just want to cover it really quickly. And the biggest news so far is this dang Omicron variant. By the way, I must say that Omicron is an awesome name.
Yes. It sounds
Like it's
like
way cooler than
a
Delta.
transformer name, right?
Exactly. I can't. I was writing in the show notes. I was like, I can't wait for the Megatron
Yeah.
variant,
Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime variant.
You know
Uh,
we're screwed when that happens.
Yeah. Oh my. Yeah. How many more letters are they gonna have to go through to hit?
In a
Yeah.
way, it's quite fitting because they are variants, right? They are mutations from
Yeah.
the
The
mainstream. So
original.
yeah, Transformers
Yeah.
kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So anyway, for those of you who are listening who don't know, who maybe haven't heard the news about this Omicron variant, so South Africa is the first country that kind of like not I don't they might not have discovered it. Actually, to be honest, other countries could have had it much earlier, but they are the first country to share the news that hey, we have this variant here. It's it's highly mutated, and apparently like it has like 32 mutations on the spike protein, which is way more than usual. And so the bad news is that the South African researchers say, it is very much more contagious than Delta. So it transmits faster, but
Yep.
at the same time, it is less virulent. So it has the effects of the flu of COVID is much lesser. Like it doesn't hit you as hard, basically.
Smaller
It's not as
impact,
deadly.
but way more transmittable, lah.
Yes.
Yeah, and
So
Delta
in a
was already
sense,
pretty contagious, really.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one is like even scarier because it spreads faster. And I think that's what countries are afraid of. But in my mind, I'm hoping that just because it's less deadly, like as long because you can get the flu, but as long as you don't go to ICU or you don't go to
Correct.
hospital,
Correct.
it's just sick. You're just sick.
Yeah. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
that it will eventually mutate to become like the common flu. Like
Yes.
everybody will get it eventually, but it's just like, take a
Yeah.
Panadol, then rest a couple of days and then you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the bad news for me is that okay, so for those of you who don't know, right, the previous episode, right, Japan just opened. So Japan has closed its borders to any foreign people, basically. So if you're a citizen, you can go back. If you have like an existing work visa you could go back as long as you have but they weren't issuing anything new. So 2 weeks ago, I remember I was about to watch Eternals when I just happened to scroll through my like I always go to the visa website to check, right, and I saw it's open, and then I went to like full joy mode, send out all the things. So you're supposed to need an additional document. And then now, because of Omicron, they close. Like literally, I don't know who went in, who got in. This is like a gacha. No, not gacha. What's that claw machine thing? It's like basically you only
UFO
have one.
machine.
You only have one coin, and I
Yeah.
couldn't use the coin. Dang it. Oh. Yeah, but
Yeah.
anyway.
It's kind of sad lah, because I mean, besides you, going over there,
Yeah.
definitely, I think we all looking forward to visiting as tourists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris, did you go to Japan with them before, or you went just with like
No,
family?
this was something we planned to do. Just before COVID struck, and it's been delaying our plans indefinitely, lah. But I mean, Japan, not just Japan, right? I think we're all reeling a bit from being unable to travel generally, and the whole situation is in a state of flux because I mean, I have a colleague who rushed to Germany just when the borders and now back to not accepting tourists again. So I'm also a bit on the fence when it comes to traveling. As much as I love traveling and I miss it terribly, you never know how the situation could
Yeah.
be, turn for the worse. And worst case is you're stuck there. I mean, very unlikely. But let's say you have the virus, touch wood, and you have to stay in quarantine there. You have enough leave to cover that.
Yeah.
And you're basically stuck in a foreign country without even being able to explore and go out. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I guess that's my main worry.
Yeah.
And as much as I would love to get out there and get the next flight to wherever opens, like Spain or Croatia.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think if you travel now, you have to understand the risk that you're taking.
Mhm.
So like you cannot like, not say you cannot lah, but like you have to understand that you bear the risk of contracting COVID and being quarantined.
Yeah.
No matter how, or you also bear the risk of, let's say you book your flight 2 months from now, and then one day before your flight, they cancel your flight. But this
Thank you
just the
very well
reality
happen,
of,
yeah.
that's just how it is now.
Mhm.
Yeah. Marv, you said where's Telford going?
He's going to Thailand. So when the VTLs
Ah,
open, so we have a friend from the gym. When the VTLs opened, he was one of the
Germany.
first to Germany.
Yeah.
So that was like a month ago, around there.
No lah, a
2
bit
months
longer
ago.
than that, I think. Almost 2 months ago.
Yeah. And then he's going to Thailand, like I think next month. So I mean that's the life of a single uh
Single guy. Sure.
single guy with no attachments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's Omicron in a nutshell. Thank you, Omicron. Actually, I was always wondering why did they skip Omega? I thought the Greek letter for O is Omega. Is it
Yeah.
small O?
I don't know.
Small O, big O?
I'm sure there's
I don't know.
naming convention.
Like a pedagogy, yeah.
Yeah.
The second piece of news that I want to touch on, which I think affects us both, affects all of us, it will eventually affect Kristian maybe down the road, is the new Singapore PSLE results that were released. And I don't want to talk too much about it, but I think it's just interesting how, I think we talked a little bit in our group chat, right, about how the PSLE has the results have changed. So basically, instead of giving a specific number, like, okay, so what Singapore happened to do last time is they give you just a grade based on is it 4 subjects still? Math, science, English, and mother tongue, right?
Yes.
Correct. Those are the 4 subjects, right? But I think mother tongue has a lower weightage, right? Or is it all because it's weight upon 300, right?
Or you
Yeah, I
mean
mean,
the
I don't know if
T-score?
Last time, when it was our time, when we
our
did
time.
PSL.
I vaguely remember
Yeah.
that.
I think it's weighted differently, right? It wasn't weighted equally,
Mm.
correct? Like
Yeah.
your math score is more valuable than your Chinese
Yeah,
score.
yeah. So the
Sounds about right for those of us who don't do
Alright.
well in Chinese. So now instead of giving you like the number, so last time it was very fine. It's very granular, right? Because the difference between a 251 and a 252 could be the difference between you going to a particular school, right? Like if the cut point is 252, for example.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now they score you on like bands, eight bands,
8 bands each.
and then
Yep.
you get scored from A to it's a 1 to 8 lah,
1 to
basically.
8.
It's not even a
There's
grade
no
anymore, it's just
alphabet.
1 to 8.
Yep.
But it's all pretty linear. Like 90 to 100, that's your mark lah. It's like
The
A.
higher bands, so or rather the
Yeah,
better
it's very
bands,
close.
have a 5-point deviation per band, and then after that it gets bigger and bigger, like 10 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it gets the middle bands are quite big,
Yep.
about 10 points.
The
And then
top-
the last few bands, the last bottom band is like huge. It's
Yeah,
like 20
huge.
or
Yeah,
30.
but the top few I think are like the top 3 are like 5 points away.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the difference now is that not only is the difference between a person who can score 4 and a person who scores 6, it is not that big. But then now their qualification to take that subject is based on their
Yep.
score in that subject. So previously, if you wanted to take like triple science, but you couldn't because you suck in Chinese, for example, you can't take triple science.
Yep.
But now, if let's say you scored well in science, but you didn't score well in math, you can still do higher level science in
Yep.
secondary school,
Yep.
but not take the
And
math, for
regular
example.
level math.
Regular. Yeah. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
I guess as a parent now, thinking about, because my daughter will be going through PSLE in like what 11 years, right, from now. seems long, but it's actually pretty fast. Like 1 year just flew by.
Yeah.
I would say I am quite okay with this change.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a bit happy with the change because as an average student, so I mean depends on what you define as average, right? So as a student during PSLE where I didn't do well enough as my mother had hoped. Yeah. So
Isn't that every mother?
That's true. That's true.
maybe. Yeah. So when I got my PSLE results, my mom was like, she was quite disappointed with me lah, and she didn't talk to me for a while.
Wow, silent treatment.
It was quite bad. Yeah. Even though, at that time, I don't know about you guys lah, but at that time when you're 12 years old, you're like, hey, it's time for holidays. Who really cares? Yeah. It will help the average student for sure. Yeah, because like we were talking about it before the show, the banding actually opens up the range of schools that you can go to. So maybe in the past you could only go to like the 20th to 30th school, but because of this now you can go like to the 10th to the 40th school, something like that. Yeah, because I don't know whether my daughter will be good in her studies. I mean, I hope so, but but it's something that I think will be good in the long run lah. Yeah. I think because it puts less emphasis on getting the perfect grade in a sense, unless of course you want to go into like the top 10 schools lah. So when I got so that was PSLE. So when I went to secondary Sec 1, so that's after PSLE, right? My school was 12 when I entered, like 12 in Singapore. Yeah, but then now they're like 40 plus. Yeah, so it's more of like if my daughter gets into that same school, I'll be like, okay lah, I mean not too bad, what, Yeah.
Kristian, what do you think?
So
I think
disclaimer, Kristian comes from an elite school, okay? He comes from a top
Which-
5 school in Singapore.
Which elite school?
the
Don't need say.
the central region.
Central region.
Uniform both white. Top white, bottom white.
Hey, your brother also, right? Both of you same school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, actually. No, I think okay. I think one thing I'm really happy about the change, I understand, I hope I'm correct, is that it would allow more students to go to secondary school,
Yeah.
to allow them to qualify for secondary school, which I think is huge. And um, if that is the main improvement alone amongst the other policy reasons for it, I am quite all for it. Um, but as someone who is motivated, in my academic, throughout my academic career, um, I've always been motivated by, I guess what you could say that my carrot has always been chasing
The great.
a perfect grade,
Yeah.
and a high grade at that. And it is what motivates me. Although, with that being said, that was really more towards uh, my university times. So it may not be as accurate
Yeah.
reflection of my priorities as a primary school student lah. Because I think me, like every other primary school student, I'm the kind where after school I just want to play football, and my mom would ask me, "Hey, don't you have any homework?" I'm like, no, I don't. And then she'll check my Chinese book at home. And she's like, "Wait, there's this, the teacher clearly indicated that you have to do homework. Like, what? Why are you not doing this?" And the point is, I didn't understand in primary one that I had to do homework. Okay, but putting that aside, I do, or rather related to my earlier point, I do like the idea of still being able, not just to separate students' performances,
Yeah.
but giving that incentive for students to chase perfection when it comes to grades. I think the risk with that is that sometimes, especially at that age, children aren't necessarily that self-motivated, or they
Yeah.
don't chase that specifically. It comes a lot from parents, right? And the danger is when the parents are the ones forcing them to hit that
Chase the
mark.
grade. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I think very unhealthy pressure comes from. I think that's where potentially longer term negative effects, especially on the child's psyche, could occur. With that being said, if the child is naturally motivated, which obviously, as we are growing up, we've always seen those students who just naturally love studying, right? And if that's what motivates them and incentivizes them to perform well, I mean, we shouldn't deny them the opportunity, because it's to celebrate their hard work as well.
Yeah.
I think to some
Oh.
as Mark and you have are a bit smaller. That there's less. The band is smaller at the higher tiers, right? So like I think 1, 2, and 3, the bands are rates of like 5.
Yes.
I think to that extent, it would still allow the students who are chasing that higher end grade to still shine, because there's less room for error to that extent. But it's more forgiving in the middle pack, which I mean, from a policy perspective, I think that makes sense lah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm a bit on the fence on this, to be fair.
Yeah, they did say
Yeah.
that rank 1 is still, or band 1, it's still 91 and above.
Right.
Yeah.
Something like
90
that.
and above.
90 and above?
90 and above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's not much
So-
changes there lah, in terms
Yeah.
of
The biggest change is
cutoff.
that now previously an A was 75 to 90. Right? That was
Yes.
an A last time. So the bending of an A is very different. Now
Now it's a 3.
if you get 75, you're 4.
4, yeah, you're 4, correct.
So basically,
Yeah.
this old score for an A now covers 3 bands.
Yeah.
3 bands.
4 bands.
And then
1 to 4 lah. Oh, yeah, correct. A star
no,
is
2 to
A
4.
star is
2
1.
to 4. Yeah, A star is 1.
Correct.
So it's 2 is to 4. And then the next band, which is B, is like the next 2 bands after that, 5 and 6.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Like last time, so I think they're just making it a bit more. In fact, they're making it a bit more granular, actually.
To the extent,
Instead of the fixed number, they're just making it a bit more granular now. I think, like you said, right, the best system would allow for the elite students to differentiate themselves from other people, but at the same time leave no student behind.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the kind of what you want. And I will say this. I think getting 4 is not as easy as people think.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's the same as getting 4 A stars. Right?
Yeah, which is effectively your 261s, 270 scores, like the ones that will go into those double white collar school anyway. Right? So I think I don't think it'll be, because initially my thought is that there's going to be some people with 4s, but I just realized it's probably not
It's
true.
not.
They're probably
be
just
the
going to keep.
same people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Interesting. We'll see whether it takes a while. I'm sure like they'll take a few, and also it's the grading that matters, right? Like they can grade it a little bit more leniently
Yeah.
or a bit more strictly, so they have more Well, it sounds bad, but they have more control over the
But
results.
I think one thing they also mentioned in the news was that in the past they used a bell curve,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but now
yeah,
they're going
trying
by
to do it.
absolute.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's why
So
students could never score 300.
yes,
Nobody
so
scored a
now
perfect score before.
we may actually see more people getting good scores because they don't grade by a bell anymore, right?
Yeah,
So if like, I mean, just an example, 50% of the population suddenly does them well and they all get 4, right? Then
yeah,
it will be 50% of the population will get 4. They won't like curve it to like maybe only 5%. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Cool. Interesting. I'm interested to see what happens like in 2 years' time or 3 years' time. But moving on to another topic. So we always ask this question all the time, and that is, what have you been watching or playing recently? And this has been a good month. I think November, December is like
Yes.
a lot of
There have
stuff
been
is
so many
coming out.
shows. So many shows. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe ask Christian first. What have you been watching or playing?
Maybe start watching. I've been watching this. Yeah, let's start with the more less intelligent, more mindless shows that
What? Love
guilty pleasure.
Island.
Sorry.
Love Island. That kind of
No, no,
shows.
no, no, no. Not wouldn't go so far as that. Similar in genre, I would say.
I just want to say that I've watched both seasons of Love Island.
Hey, this is a safe room, no shame area. So, but I've been watching this show called Below Deck. Not sure if you've heard of it. It's on Netflix. It has some seasons on Netflix. Basically, it documents the life of what people call yachties. Basically, people who work on yachts. They serve the upper class, upper echelons of society who can afford US $200,000 to rent a charter for 3 days, 2 nights, that sort of thing. And these yacht staff wait hand and foot,
Yeah.
on to serve these guests. Of course,
Yeah.
amongst themselves, they're bickering and politics and stuff.
Yeah.
Besides that, Van and I really love this YouTube show called Sorted Food. Um,
Oh, the
have,
British
have you have you
guys.
heard of it? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
So it's these five British lads. Well, now four because one of the chefs left the show to. But basically, the premise is that there are two professional chefs, like professionally
Yeah.
trained chefs, and
And two home chefs.
three home chefs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have various challenges to make the show interesting. Like they have a pass it on challenge where one guy would the first guy would decide, like he would have a special ingredient that would be revealed and he has to decide what to do with the ingredient. The rest of it's like a blind tag team. So the guys who follow after him won't know what direction he was taking. They can't leave each other notes, so they just have to take the dish along how the
Yeah.
trajectory they see fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that sort of thing. And as someone who loves food and loves cooking myself, you pick out like a lot of nice tips and tricks from them. So yeah, I quite enjoyed
Yeah.
that too.
Oh, okay. Cool. Mark, anyway, you didn't watch Love
Yeah,
Island
yeah.
apparently.
So Charlene was just
You
clarifying.
watched Too Hot to Handle.
It was toward the handle. There were 2 seasons.
Which is worse?
No, it's great. It's great. If you want fast food and you want to look at hot people, watch Too Hot to Handle. So some of them are really your typical like bimbo himbos.
You
You're
mean
like
that
you're like what? Damn good looking, damn chill. But when they talk, right, you're like, okay. I mean, you look as sharp as what I expected you. But some of them are actually pretty. They are not himbos and bimbos. Yeah,
maybe it's just a contrast, When
yeah.
someone is so obviously himbo, algae seems intelligent.
Marian says if I want to look at hot people, look at wife. I mean, we look at each other, then sometimes we want to look at the TV also. Yeah. But okay, anyway, that's beside the point.
Yeah.
If there's season 3, we are definitely watching for sure. It's like one of our guilty pleasures. But yeah, what I've been watching, I actually finished. I binged this Netflix show called
Hellbound.
Yeah, it's a Korean show called Hellbound. If you haven't heard of it, it's actually it outranked Squid Game.
Well,
Yeah, in terms of number of hours watched. So Squid Game used to hold the highest, right? And then Arcane took over, and then now it's Hellbound. So it's a 6 episode series, kind of on the same vein as Death Note. Yeah, so it's supernatural, but not like ghost and stuff. It's not scary at all. Yeah, it's about. I mean, no spoiler summary. It's about people getting a prophecy from like a disembodied head. Like it will just appear to them and say that you will go to hell. I mean not go to hell. You are bound for hell,
Wow.
on a certain time, certain day. Yeah, and then when that time comes, they will die. So basically, like
Okay.
three demons, which are not really scary. They look like golems lah. They look like clay
Yeah.
golems from Diablo 2. They'll just come out and then they literally smack you. Like they will punch you in the face, and then they will
And then drag you to hell.
no, they will burn you alive. Like they will like shine this bright light at you, and then you will turn into a skeleton.
Okay.
Yeah. So the show is basically about how it's kind of like an exploration of how religion controls people, because like in light of this thing happening, right? Like this new religion sprung up called the New Truth, and then some people say it's a cult, and some people are following it because they come up with a doctrine and they say, oh, if you live by this doctrine, you will not be, bound for hell. But then if you get, a decree, that means that you have sinned somehow and you are going to hell. So everybody should live, without sin, that kind of thing. Yeah, and it's how like this new religion slowly like permeated throughout society and managed to like get a hold of their lives lah. Yeah, it's quite good because it doesn't like focus on like very cheap supernatural stuff. It's a bit deeper than what you would think from watching the trailer lah. Yeah. So and it's 6 episodes. Yeah lor. It's pretty fast. You can just like binge watch it. Yeah. But personally, I would say that I prefer Squid Game over it.
Chris, have you watched Squid Game?
No, I've actually not watched both of them yet. So
Yeah,
It's okay.
I need to catch up on
you
that.
should. They're worth watching. Yeah. Then oh yeah, I've been watching Wheel of Time. Yeah, no spoilers here also. Watched the first 3 episodes. I haven't watched the 4th one yet. I would say I'm invested because of our friend John. So John was on I think episode 2 or 3, I can't remember. Yeah, and he worked on the music of Wheel of Time. And I'm gonna say that the music is probably the best part of the show. Yeah, I have some comments, but we can talk about Wheel of Time another day lah.
Yeah. Since Kristian hasn't watched it.
Yeah, and yeah lor, playing wise, New World lah. We can talk about New World later.
Or not. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So I have been watching this. I've been watching. I finished watching Arcane. So Arcane is like the new like.
Is it
hot
all out
stuff
already?
on Netflix? Yeah, it's all out. All 9 episodes are out. So I would say that Arcane, objectively, is the best animated series in terms of its animation. First, objectively, like in terms of the quality, that when you watch it, you're like, wow, these guys really like know how to make an animation like click. And with the amount of money they spent on it, they spent like their budget is the same as the Wheel of Time, which is crazy for an animation studio. But I think it's really brilliant how they weave in the story and the characters. I think it's way more engaging than Squid Game even. Like the way they managed to weave all the characters together. Like and every character in the show is important. I don't even play League of Legends, right? But at the end of the whole series, right? Actually every major character is actually a champion in the League of Legends. That means you can play them. And it's quite interesting how their fortunes turn. And this is really just one city that they're based in. But if you know the League of Legends lore, they are based in like there are many different regions, and I think it's cool because I think Riot is going to earn a crap load of money from this. Like I think they already put out 6 games from this. So when Arcane ended, right, the 9th episode was released. They kind of said like these are 3 games that's now available you can buy now, or 2 games, and then there are 4 more games that are in this world. So they are really like gonna go all out to get you to play their games. But I think
League
you watch
has quite a pretty loyal following.
Yeah. It's huge, bigger than Dota.
Yeah.
So did you watch up to 6? Is it, Mark?
No, I've only watched I think the first 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Keep watching, man. It's good.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot
And
of
Chris-
stuff
Yeah.
recently lah, right?
And then finish it.
Yeah, you should watch it as well. And if you talk about YouTube, I've just recently stumbled over this YouTube channel called Jolly. Have you heard of it?
Yeah.
It's two English guys and his wife, the Korean girl. Yeah, it's quite interesting. I was like, oh, quite fun. I mean, they're your typical like react to stuff and eat different things, but it's very interesting because they speak so many different languages, and it's interesting to see that dynamic. Yeah.
Hello.
So if you guys want to try something new, I think it's quite wholesome as well.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of like Good Mythical Morning style.
It's the one that they made their dad try durian, right?
I can't remember.
These two
I can't
British
remember.
men, they tried as
Yeah,
in basically food stuff.
Yeah, I think I think one guy grew up in Korea, married
Okay.
a Korean girl, and the girl is like a master chef. She got second in Master Chef Korea.
Oh, wow.
So like
okay.
she has her own like very successful like YouTube cooking
Right.
video. And it doesn't help that she's pretty also lah. Yeah, as in like so it's like that's a like perfect combination, right? You hot guy,
Is she too hot to
pretty
handle?
girl. I don't know. I don't know, man. Not every time I watch that Netflix, sometimes when Too Hot to Handle first came out, right, on Netflix, right, it was like the banner.
Oh,
Like when
was
you
it?
open Netflix, I think it's like a picture of her, like a girl's butt or something
Oh,
on screen.
yeah,
And I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
okay.
come on. I don't want to watch this nonsense.
Have you tried? Have you tried, honestly?
No.
Okay, you and Mary
I
should
have
sit
not.
down and watch one episode.
No, Mary and I would not survive the first minute.
No, it's super trashy, but it's damn fun.
Yeah.
It's very funny. Do you know the concept behind it?
No.
So okay, they're all tricked, like that they're all going to come on a show for a party. Like it's going to be a reality show, but it's going to be party. It's going to be about them hooking up, exchanging partners, kind of stuff. So when they all arrive, and so obviously when they arrive, the guys will arrive in like bathing suit shorts, and then the girls will arrive in bikinis, and then they all get to look at each other. They think that they're all really very hot. They're all damn happy, right? But then, so once they all arrive, the host actually tells them this whole retreat, this whole like 2 weeks or 1 week, you have to remain celibate because there is a huge prize money, like
Yeah.
tens of $1,000s. So every time they break the rules, like they kiss or they do something, they minus money from the pool.
Which is a consolidated pool, right? So
Yes,
everyone uses it together.
Correct.
Yeah.
So doesn't matter who breaks the rules, everybody loses money. So it's really funny to see some people like some of them are really, really like they want to win the money, and then
But
they're damn
other people sabo
angry.
them.
They're damn angry when
Yeah.
like a couple kisses and then they break the rules. Then they're like, they want to like whack them. It's damn funny. Yeah, trust me, it's worth it because it's funny. Yeah.
I'm sure there are people who are like, I can't control my hormones
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
I'm just gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
Screw the. If I'm not gonna win the money, it's okay. At least I'm gonna have fun.
Yes, so some of
Right,
them are
that's
like
how
that. Then, but the catch is that if you totally disregard the rules, you get kicked out of the island.
Oh,
You
like
literally
Survivor
get
like
kicked
that.
off the island. Yeah. So the host will tell you, like, you obviously have no growth. You're gone. Yeah.
You have no growth.
No potential for growth, rather. No pun intended.
No growth. Okay. Okay. I highly doubt if Miriam wants to watch it, then I'll watch it with her. But I highly doubt it. We have so many things on our backlog. We're still watching. Yeah. Anyway. Anything else you guys want to share? If not, we move on to the next topic.
I don't know. Do you want to talk about New World?
No. Let's keep New World at the end if there's time.
Yeah,
Anyway,
sure.
you can just go into New World after that.
Sure.
So before we talk about Chris's like what he does, and I kind of want to like not dissect but get to know a little bit more about what he does. But let's talk about because recently Marv, you went to Rubicon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think it's very like in Singapore, you have some well-known like food places that everybody knows of, like Bedok 85. You guys know Bedok 85? Right. So like you can't say that it's a secret food gem. But I think there are like maybe near to us or people that like certain food places that maybe even other people don't think is very nice, but you love it. Yeah. So I just thought it'd be cool to share like your experience with what are some secret food recommendations that are secretly good. And so yeah, anybody maybe Marv, you can share your experience at Rubicon first.
Yeah, I can go first, I guess. So I went to Rubicon Saturday
2 days ago.
Saturday night for dinner. With some of my management buddies from the gym lah. It's at Upper Thomson Road, and
Yeah.
what's cool about them is so they are very, very unassuming. Like when you walk into the place, right? I'm gonna say there's no ambiance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually called Rubicon Steakhouse, right? But it's not even, I wouldn't even say it's a steakhouse. It's just the name, the word steakhouse. But you walk inside, it feels like a coffee shop. Like it's a clean coffee shop. Yeah. Think of it like a food court. Like maybe,
Yeah.
Food Republic, that kind.
That serves Wagyu beef.
Yes, so they serve only Hokkaido Wagyu beef. Yeah, depending on the cut that you want. So they have, they have ribeye, they have sirloin, and I think there's one more, I can't remember what.
Filet. I think they serve you filet.
Yeah, so what we had was we had 500 grams of both the ribeye and the sirloin cut, which is, I think it's about 110 for the
Wait,
ribeye for
when you
500
say
grams.
that's per person or
Oh
you
no,
share?
no, five of us shared, like 1
Or
kg both of
1
beef.
kilo. So about
Both of
200 grams
beef.
per person.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and then we also had Hokkaido scallops, chicken
Oh.
karaage, and I think that's about it. So yeah, it's very simple. So when you order the beef, right, it comes like they slice it up. See, I'm like salivating really. They slice it up, and then they also grill like a whole garlic.
Garlic, yeah. I see.
Yeah, then
No, they
just
roast it, right?
yeah, they roast it. So they just put it out like a flour, and then you can just pick out what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good because it's not very expensive for the amount of meat, right? Like if you were actually to go to like one of the more atas level steakhouses, 500 grams of beef is gonna set you back like, I don't know, $300 or something like that. Yeah. So it was a good experience. I'm definitely going back there again. I think I might be going back there on Wednesday. Yeah, because Sherilyn wants to go and
Anyway, the management meeting was paid. That meal was paid for, so you did it. So now you can
yes,
enjoy with Sherilyn.
yes, yeah.
Marianne, do you hear that? Rubicon Steakhouse.
I highly recommend it. Yeah.
Okay. So, were you full though? It doesn't sound like much. Were you full?
Yeah, we were full because we ordered sides also, right? So
Okay.
it was pretty good lah. Um, I think what I really like about it is that because even though like the food is pretty atas,
Yeah.
like Hokkaido Wagyu beef hello, but obviously it's not like A5 or what lah. It's probably like middling grade, but it's still good, and you don't have to like you don't have to dress up. Like normally if you go to like a really good steakhouse, you want to dress up nicely. Then you can wear slippers.
Wear slippers.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine like wear t-shirts, shorts, and slippers, and you can go have nice Hokkaido
That's
Wagyu beef.
that's how the rich are when they go to the atas steakhouses. That's how you know you're rich. When you can when you can walk into Morton's or like anywhere in MBS with slippers.
And then they welcome you back, right?
Yeah, they say, "Sir, welcome."
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris, do you have your food recommend? You don't need to give all. You can just give one first, and then we can go round robin or something.
I think I want to caveat by saying I'm not sure to what extent these are secret gems.
I tell you, if Marv and I know about it, then it's not secret.
Okay, fair enough. And this one Marv knows about because I think definitely knows about because we talked about it in the chat the other day. But have you heard of Conchita at MC?
No, what's it called? Conchita?
How do you spell it?
Conchita. Canchita. So it's a Peruvian place.
Oh.
Yeah, you shared about it the other day, right?
Right, I shared about it, and I think one of our other friends, Chris, has been there as well. Another Chris. I'll just the food was so good that there's I think that their main dish really is their ceviche. There's like 6 different types of. Super good, super good. Yeah.
This is the one at Dempsey Hill, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, the one at Dempsey.
Looks atas.
It is
How okay.
actually
people loyal,
no,
bro.
to be fair, it's not a formal place. People you see going in bumps, sneakers, whatever. Like they're not fast. It's actually quite relaxed atmosphere. But the food is not. Obviously, it's not. It's at Dempsey. Right? Nothing is cheap at Dempsey.
Yep.
But it's at the same time for cuisine which you don't normally come across in Singapore. Quite like
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it now. It's not too expensive. I mean, it's pricey, but it's not like more expensive than your average like expensive restaurant.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, so you recommend that. So is it like, is the main thing the ceviche? Like that's what you should go for?
Yes, I think it was definitely one of my favorite dishes there. I felt that the starters, including the ceviche, were a bit more impressive than the mains.
Main course. So I just eat the
Yeah,
starter.
you just go ham on like 4 or 5 different starters.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the starters were good.
Yeah, they were really good.
Okay.
But
Oh,
not
they even have a daily curated 5-course tasting menu.
I think I would go back. I think the next time I go back, I would like to try that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean it's $128. That's pricey, but it's like okay, it's expensive, but not as expensive. Some omakases are $200.
Exactly.
You think of it that way.
Yep.
Okay. My one is a Korean place. It's located in literally the Heartland. So it's in Heartland Mall at Kovan, level 2. It's a Korean place called Hanshik. Hanshik. So my favorite thing to eat there is the samgyetang. So the ginseng chicken soup there. It's the most authentic one I've had obviously outside of Korea. Yeah, but of course they serve like your typical like Korean foods there as well. And it's not say cheap, but it's normal. It's definitely cheaper than the whole stretch of what road is that? Is it Anson Road? The Tanjong Pagar Road with all the Korean barbecues there. Yeah. So this place called Hanshik in Kovan. I think it's really good. It's run by It's run by one like a family. So I
Ajuma.
always see the Ajuma. Yeah, Ajuma is always there. So it's authentic when the people who are like the bosses are all Korean. So you guys can try it next time. Hanshik.
All right.
Yeah. Any more you guys
It's not a
wanna?
chain, right?
No, it's not. It's not a chain.
And they do barbecue also?
Yes, but the barbecue is not like the typical where you have that big pot in front of you, but big like then you do it yourselves. It's like they will literally have a hot plate on the side and they'll grill it for you and they put it in front of you.
Okay.
But mainly it's just because I think they didn't have like the space to like. It's not really a Korean barbecue place. It's a Korean family restaurant, but they serve you barbecue
It's not like your
items as
typical
well.
where every table has like a grill.
No,
Yeah.
no, they don't have it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
and they also have, the best is they have lunch deals, so you can have like half a ginseng chicken soup for $14. Yeah, and they literally give you half a chicken
Oh, wow.
in the soup. Yeah, so it's pretty good. Yeah. What else do you guys have? I'm sure there's more.
I mean, wow, off the top of my head, a
Yours.
bit hard, yeah.
Oh really? Chris, you have another one?
Actually, yeah. Dialing back the price a bit because I feel like I'll be judged if I said that all my favorite places are
Oh,
certain.
$100 and above.
Yeah. But with that being said, I think Far East Plaza, the top floor, has this little Japanese little shop called Wasabi Tei.
Okay. That's good.
Have you guys heard of it?
Yes,
Never.
It's like
Never.
one of Marian's favorite places.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So it was my fiance's sister who introduced it to us. I was
Yeah.
utterly surprised by the quality of the sashimi.
Yeah, and
Far East
yeah,
Plaza, of all places.
yeah, yeah, and the best thing is the quantity.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like they give you that whole. I think it was like their like it's their sashimi don, right? And it's like $36 or $37. I can't remember the exact price. But I tell you, like you finish 1/4 of the rice. I mean, you finish your rice, and you still have like 3/4 of your sashimi left.
Yeah.
That's how much sashimi they give you. Like the cuts are super super thick.
Yeah, I'm looking at the pictures
So
now. Reminds me of when I was in Hokkaido.
yeah, wasabi. Oh, actually, yeah, wasabi tea is good. Yeah, and I think it's because it's very familiar, and it has the typical like the square, not square. It's
Yeah.
countertop seating.
Which I love. I
All
love
right.
that.
Yeah,
Going tomorrow.
yeah. And I think they have two. So they have two. Like they're literally side by side. So one counter on this side, and then on the other shop they have another counter now. Yeah, so you can go there. Last time when we went when Mary and I were working, last time we would go. Not that we don't work now, but when we were working like nearer to town, we would go like after work sometimes, and then it'll be super short. We'll know the chef, we'll know the guy who's cooking. So sometimes he'll just give us like free things or something, like some stuff like that.
Nice.
Because actually that's very Japanese, right? Like once you
Yeah.
get to know the chef, it's like you just sit there and he'll be like,
Service.
"Hey, try this,
Yeah.
try this." Yeah, it sounds good, right? Yeah. Wasabi Day is a good recommendation. If you on that sushi theme, on that Japanese theme, there's another place along Upper Serangoon Road which I brought Marv before called Kaio Sushi.
Oh, Kaio
It's
Sushi is
at
great.
yeah, It's at Lim Tua Tau Road. You know where all there's a famous Teochew porridge there. There's like a lot of there's Taiwanese bistro there. A lot of places there along Lim Tua Tau Road.
Should I only say
And
shh? Don't share.
But Kaio is really good. Their best, I think, arguably their best dish is the unagi foie gras roll.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, and it's like your typical, like, you know, your big maki roll, right? Like your sushi tei kind of roll. And unagi foie gras is it $20?
Can't
Yeah,
remember.
so yeah, around there. It's good. Yeah. So you guys can try it.
Yeah, you should bring Van there, Kristian.
Sorry, what's it
Yeah.
called again?
Kaio Sushi
Kaio
and Grill.
Sushi. Kaiyo.
Yep.
This was our, like, during circuit breaker, we were so sad, let's eat something nice place. I think it was during circuit breaker. Yeah, like, I would just take the bus down, then pick up the because they don't do delivery back then. So I would have to go down and pick it up, and then we would just be sad that circuit breaker and eat it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, if there's more secret fruit combinations that come to your mind, please let me know. I want to know so that I can go for it as well. Let's talk a little bit about what Kristian does. So, Kristian's a lawyer. I'm not going to ask him for the firm he works at. But can you say what kind of lawyer you are?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, very broadly speaking, I'm a corporate lawyer.
Okay.
Do M&A transactions and capital markets work. So,
And when you first entered law school, was that what you had? Was that what you wanted to do?
no, not necessarily. I entered law school without knowing where I would see myself practicing. It was only
Yeah.
through law school that I did, internships with different firms and different
Yeah.
departments that I realized, okay, I quite like. I think corporate law is my calling.
Yeah. Is it because it has the most money?
Well, okay. So I think a lot of people assume that, right?
Yeah, it's
And
corporations.
I think I think at our level, um, I think pay aside, you have to, more importantly, right? At least for me, you have to enjoy what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Corporate law is what really, and maybe I don't like the stress of going to court as well.
Okay.
I think I'm more comfortable with that. So yeah, it's I think that was one of the main reasons why I preferred.
Okay. So you don't do any form of any sort of litigation, or you do?
No, I don't.
No litigation. Okay. Cool. So, okay, my question is, okay, what are let's say you become a lawyer in Singapore, what are the different, okay, because caveat, right, I got into NUS law school, but I didn't take the offer at the end of the day. So my question is, what are like your options when you leave law school that people usually go to?
Not everyone ends up in a law firm, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I would say the bulk actually want to practice in a practice law firm.
Yeah.
That's where most people end up. Other options would be in-house counsel or a
Company.
or a company.
Yeah.
Others they obviously go to the public sector. They work for the AGC.
Yeah.
Others, I would say, okay, from one of my close friends did law with me in university. He completed the bar or halfway through the bar, and he decided to he left it altogether, and now he's a chef. So I think lawyers are quite a funny bunch of people. They don't
Yeah.
always, especially those. I mean, law school students rather. Not
Yeah.
everyone ends up in private practice or even related to law.
Yeah.
It is a good stepping stone to other
Other things.
programs, and
Yeah.
I think the critical analysis and maybe the critical thinking that it trains you to do, the rigor of thinking, and maybe just being exposed to legal documentation generally is quite helpful across tons of
Yeah.
fields. Like even my friend now who's a lawyer, sorry, who's a chef, when he negotiates lease contracts for his rental and stuff
Yeah.
like that, he's easily at
A
an edge.
slight advantage lah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and people kind of underestimate and don't expect that from him.
Yeah.
Which he plays to his advantage, obviously.
Yeah, they wouldn't expect
Yeah.
a chef to
Yeah.
have knowledge
Don't
about the
trick
inner
me,
workings.
you blood. Okay. Oh, okay. So when you were in law school, how did your, like, now how long have you been working? Like,
I've been working since, if you count my training, it's since 2016. So 5 years.
okay, so about 5 years. How does was like your expectations of when you were in school of how it's like to work outside? How does it differ from what you
Oh,
actually do now?
I think it's very different. Honestly, a lot of the things you learn in law school aren't. I mean, the focus is on theory, right? It's very theoretical.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of the things you actually need to do work on a daily basis is you just focus on the more practical aspect that you can only
Mm.
pick up on the job. You can't actually study about it. You have to do it, and the more you do it, like for example, just the most basic of things like drafting, right? You can't really study drafting. It's the
Mm.
more you practice, the different types of agreements you see, and get better. You hone your craft by just practicing.
Mm.
So in that respect, it's very different, and I also think people don't really understand the amount of paperwork and administrative things that goes behind news. Not every it's not the glitz and glamour that everyone sees
Yeah.
TV and how it's represented. There's a lot
Mm.
of work that goes behind the scenes.
Okay. So, like, how do you think? So, like, I think this kind of relates to the topic, lah. But so it's not like have you watched Suits?
Okay, funnily enough, I've not. As which people like how you not have you not watched Suits? You're a lawyer, right? But my fiance has. She utterly loves Suits, and she knows enough about my line of work to be able to compare
Yeah.
between your TV and reality.
And she
Yeah.
knows it's trash.
Sorry?
And she knows it's trash,
She,
right?
it's nonsense,
Yeah,
right?
it's not what it's out to be. I mean, obviously, everyone expects that, right? It's
Yeah.
a TV show. It's meant to be hyped up. Um,
Yeah.
It's like asking your brother, who is a doctor, is Grey's
To
Anatomy a good
watch.
representation of?
right?
Hey, okay. No, no, no. Okay, on this topic, right? Mary has told me this before. Because obviously I'm an accountant, but nobody makes movies about accountants or TV shows about accountants. Why? I don't know why. But she says that Grey's Anatomy is actually not the worst offender of medical dramas. In terms of like the treatments they do. You know what's the biggest offender?
What?
House.
Have you? Yes, House. Have you watched House?
There is no such department as diagnostic
No, not only is
medicine.
there no such department, she says even a simple IV drip, or like even when they inject, there's like bubbles in the injection
They
that
don't.
will
They
like
just
basically
whack.
if you inject air into you can cause a clot, right? Like it's like, oh, they never put the drip properly, it's upside down. How can this guy be walking around? He says everything in my house is wrong. So
I'd just like to highlight that Lam has just commented that
There's a
there is in
movie.
fact a movie about an accountant.
no, dude, that's different. Isn't that the Denzel Washington one?
It's an action thriller.
The one that he kills
No,
everybody,
no.
right? Oh no,
Ben Affleck.
it's Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lam, I'm not that kind of accountant, lah, bro.
It's not about a guy sitting at the desk,
Yeah.
typing away at numbers.
Well, my wife said the Good Doctor wasn't totally inaccurate. But would you really want what he was mildly autistic, was it?
Yes,
I
he's
can't
on the
remember. I didn't
spectrum.
watch.
He's on the
He's
spectrum.
on the spectrum, right?
Yeah. So Sherilyn also watches
but-
The Good Doctor.
Yeah. No, but Sherilyn watched the Korean one or the American one?
No, the American one.
Uh,
Yeah.
That's what the accountants do. Kill everyone. Yeah, when auditors come around, that's what happens. So actually in Singapore wise, I'm guessing that criminal law isn't a very big thing, right?
No, I wouldn't say it's not a big thing. There is, I mean, there have been quite a few high-profile cases in the news recently. So, I mean, work that our criminal lawyers do and our just do is obviously invaluable, but you don't get the same frequency, I would say, of heinous
Yeah.
crime
Mm.
you might hear from other countries.
Low level of
Yeah.
action. Low
Yeah,
pop
exactly.
server. Basically, we're a low pop server. Not much PvP going on. So
Yeah.
mostly PvE.
PvE.
A lot of white collar crime, I guess.
A lot of no, they spray paint on the MRT door, that kind. PvE, literally against the environment.
Exactly that. But yeah, I think it's not as it doesn't make the news as often just because the cases aren't as
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because we
interesting.
have a low crime rate here in
you're thankful
Singapore.
for
lah.
that, right? Obviously,
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm sure criminal lawyers are going, oh dang it, I wish there was a serial killer on the news right now so I can litigate this stuff on. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. But okay, so can you say like what is the most interesting like thing you've done, seen, heard in your field?
Um, Unfortunately, not. I can't go really into specifics just
Yeah, yeah,
because of
yeah, yeah.
um.
Confidentiality,
I
yeah, for
think
sure.
I think if I could take the question slightly as to maybe what
Yeah,
I find interesting about my job.
yep,
'Cause, I mean, it doesn't have that same. I mean, some people say your litigation is where the action is, where you go to court, fight out in court. There's that competitiveness. There's that
yeah,
adversarial aspect. That's where it's fun.
yeah,
I think for me, what I enjoy is helping MNCs, corporations kind of think of creative and innovative solutions around their corporate issues, and when they have complex deal structures and stuff like that, we try to figure it out for them, lah.
yeah.
Mm.
Um, that I, I feel like that could have come across a bit.
Yes, yes. When you say creative and innovative solutions, I really thought illegal.
No, no, no. I have to disclaim. Definitely not that.
You would expect lawyers to know how to toe the line, though, right?
Everything is above board.
Yeah.
Not everyone can be ace attorney.
Yeah. No. Okay. So have you played
Objection.
Ace Attorney?
No, I mean
No,
I've seen all the memes lah, right?
Oh, he
Of
hasn't
him
played.
like
He hasn't
pointing.
watched lawyer shows. He doesn't play lawyer games. Chris, are you even a lawyer? Are you sure?
yeah, I think they start looking into these games, man.
Yeah, you should. Ace Attorney is like a very famous like
I'm sure
Japanese.
you know the meme.
Yeah, he's like objection. There's this meme on like where he says objection,
Yeah.
and it's like super loud, and he's like a very like I don't know spiky hair lawyer. He
Let
fights for
me.
the underdog, does everything pro bono, that kind of thing.
Let me see
Oh,
if I can find
okay.
the.
Oh yeah, of course I've seen the meme before. Yeah.
You've seen it?
Oh, Chris
Yeah.
is on. The other Chris is on.
The the uh,
Why hello?
the other
Does
lawyer,
does the
Chris.
other Chris do?
So
Does he do
no,
corporate
so
as well?
the other Chris, is in shipping law. So he works with my cousin-in-law. So Sherilyn's older cousin
So he's in house lah.
she's in shipping law. I think they do like, I'm not really sure what they do, but I know she does something to do with shipping.
But he's in house, right? He works for a company.
Yeah, he works for a company.
Yes.
So he
Yeah,
recently
he's
joined
not in
the
a
team.
firm lah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yes,
not in a
And
firm.
and apparently like they used to go to Japan very often before
Yeah.
COVID. I think they go like every year or maybe even more than once a year. Maybe Chris can let us know in the chat. But so when he joined, he was like, "Yes, got chance." Then
Can travel.
now it's like, no chance.
So would you say like definitely working in house? Basically, if you don't work in a law firm, you have the hours are less strict. Like you have more free time.
I think it really. Actually, honestly, the answer is it depends.
Okay, on the
Depends on.
company.
It really just depends on the company culture. Yeah.
Okay. For how about just to round off this whole segment about lawyers? If you let's say in the future Rebecca wants to be a lawyer, I'll smack her. No, just kidding.
Just like how she chose
What
Charmander.
that was a total. I don't even know why she's my daughter now. She should have chosen Bubble. So who chooses? Okay, firstly, I totally expected she was not going to choose Squirtle because who the heck chooses Squirtle, right?
Hey,
But do you choose Squirtle?
I'm the Squirtle user.
Dude,
Oh no!
Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and then Charmander.
Oh yeah. No, but it's so okay. Yeah, but anyway, so she chose Charmander. I was like, at first she took Charmander, and then she like played with it. And she was just looking for the tag, like she wanted to play with the tag. And then she threw it away. Then I thought, oh, she actually doesn't want Charmander. She just took it and threw it away. She's just removing the worst Pokemon. And then she went to Bulbasaur. She played a bit, and then she threw it away as well. So I guess she chose Charmander. No, but okay. So my question was like, let's say someone wants to be a lawyer. What would be like your piece of advice?
Tell him or her
Like,
to be an investment banker or a dentist instead.
I knew it. Don't. That's your advice. Don't.
Yeah,
Even Chris says just
even
don't.
Chris says don't. Yeah,
Hey,
the other Chris.
but you guys can. But if I become a lawyer, I can eat at Kanchita. Kanchita. If now I'm a missionary, I can eat at Kanchita.
Probably,
You can
if an investment banker, you could probably fly to Peru overnight and eat.
Okay, and eat Kanchita.
So my mom keeps telling Meredith, my daughter, she's like, when you grow up, be a dentist, okay? Be a dentist.
Not the worst advice.
Yeah, it's okay. Let me ask. Do you have like maybe for Marv and I guess Chris also? Like, do you have like a particular profession that you would like your kids to be? Because I know like our parents' generation is like, typical, right? Doctor.
So I used to joke that not Sherilyn, sorry, Meredith cannot date until she makes at least con or something like that. Or associate con.
She makes what?
Like associate con or something like that. Doctor.
Oh my gosh. That's a long way,
She'll be
associate
she'll be like
consultant.
30 years in the past. But no
Oh
lah.
my gosh.
It was a joke. I think it's nice to have a doctor in the family, even in your extended family. Some anecdotal experience, like, so I think I'm not sure if I told you a story before, but when my mom fell and broke her leg, she was able to get like to be seen much quicker and like move her appointments
Yeah.
ahead because some of her cousins are doctors lah. Yeah, I think
for
Kristian
sure.
knows who we're talking about. Yeah, so it really helps in that sense. I mean, kind of abusing the system, yes, but it's that's how the world works, right? I mean, you have connections, and not only that, I mean, you can go to people to advice. So, like for example, our family, like our extended family, your lawyer, your brother's a doctor, we have another cousin who's a teacher, so he knows stuff in MOE. I'm in the mental health field. If you ever come to me, something's wrong with you, so don't come to me. Yeah, so it's always good to have people in a variety of fields lah. But if you ask me like what would I want my daughter to be, I don't think I have
A set one.
like I don't have any aspirations for her. More of like I hope she finds something that she enjoys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a bit old fashioned, but sometimes I'm like, okay, it's okay because she may grow up to be I hope of course that she grows up to be an independent young lady. But then if she gets married, then I also hope that she finds somebody that she can rely on. Yeah. I'm not saying that she has she becomes a tai tai and doesn't have to work. But if that happens, I'll be like, good job. Great.
Good
Yeah.
job. Ultimate. You scored the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Okay. Chris, I mean, you don't have kids, but in the
I,
future,
no, I do second Alf's approach. I think fundamentally my kid will be happy with whatever they do lah.
Yeah.
I mean, money is important, obviously, to fund the necessities in life. Even if they're the sort that would want a luxurious lifestyle, then obviously they have to work for it. What's the benefit of that if you're not happy with what you do lah? I think that would first and foremost my most important advice would be whatever you're doing, make sure you enjoy it and you.
Yeah. You're more likely to stick to it if you enjoy it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think last time, to be honest, I think our parents actually want the same thing for us as well. It's just that they've been brought up in an environment, in a culture where it's like you need to make sure you have enough to survive, right? And I think but I think in today's, and I can't imagine what life will be like 16 years from now, 20 years from now, when our daughters have grown up. But I firmly believe that you can make a living out of anything. You just need to know how to monetize it in a way.
Twitch streamer.
Right. Nobody could have thought that you could make gaming a earning like a career. Right. And if you tell people now, like 20 years ago, that one of the top earners in the world are people streaming YouTube videos of them playing a game in their house,
millions
they would
per
say
year.
you're absolutely crazy.
Yeah. ASMR
Right?
streamer. Imagine your daughter licking a mic. Yep.
Yeah.
And then she gets millions.
My daughter, I mean, she does that
Yeah.
all the time now anyway. She just licks the mic. I don't even tell her to lick the mic.
I mean, honestly, people like they make what 1 or 2 million a year.
Or like Mr. Beast.
Yeah, Mr. Beast. He gives away money, man.
He gives away money.
He makes money by giving away money. Yes.
Yeah. It's insane. But yeah, I mean, I'm the same lah. As long as she's happy doing.
Yeah.
I think you want to
The difference between our parents' time and our time is that our parents' time, as in when we were young, we were growing up, the types of professions are very limited in scope. It's all the standard stuff. You become a doctor, you become a dentist, you become a lawyer, engineer, that kind of stuff. Yeah, even when I got into uni and I decided to study psychology, my mom was like, she was like very apprehensive. She's like, can make money or not? Can find a job or not? Like this kind of study, this kind of like subject, are you able to get a job in the future? Who's going to hire somebody in psychology? So, but now it's like it's very common, right? For people who study psychology, do mental health. Yeah. So I mean things evolve lah, definitely.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean for all we
Yeah.
know, like 25 years from now.
Oh, sorry. I think Kristian cut out.
Kristian, you skipped. You're saying
No,
something?
sorry. You go ahead. Go ahead. Thought you had stopped. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was just saying, like, 25 years from now, it could be something that we can't even imagine. Like, for sure, our parents definitely never thought that streaming games would be a career, could be a career.
Yeah.
Or playing Dota could be a career, right? Yeah.
He could be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris, you were saying?
No, I think I just want to add that I think one legacy thing, maybe from our parents' generation, the thinking, which I still think is relevant and
Yep.
would still qualify or caveat my advice that my child should do whatever they're happy with. Still have to be they still have to have that sense of practicality. If you want to get nice house, you enjoy nice watches, you want to buy that car you've always wanted. You can't just necessarily do something that you enjoy as a career,
Yep.
but it doesn't make you the money to get there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think you need to balance what your expectations
Lifestyle. Yeah.
and your lifestyle choices with what you are willing
Yeah.
to sacrifice or consider yourself happy with lah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. If you want to earn, if you want to only earn 3K, for example, or like even less than that, but you want to live out your van, sure. I mean, as long as that's what you want.
But if you want to
But you
own a
can't
BM and then you only
Yeah.
earn 3K,
Yeah.
you gotta manage
Mama,
those
Papa,
expectations.
can I please? Maybe I've always wanted to ask this question too. I don't know whether you guys actually have this when you were young, but when you were young, what did you want to be? Do you guys have like one particular thing? I mean, don't tell me like last time I said I wanted to be Leonardo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
How
but
young
that's not
though?
gonna happen.
How young is young? Because young is a relative
I
term.
think young enough that the job would be realistic. Like in a sense, it's not like I want to be a spaceman. I mean, like if you want to be an astronaut, but then like it's a legit, like maybe like along those lines. Primary school, I think.
For me,
maybe?
when I was older, maybe like at the end of secondary school, I was seriously thinking of being a teacher. Yeah. So I had a talk. So when I was in Sec 4, before I graduated, I did have a talk with one of my school teachers last time lah. English teacher. I still remember who he is. And the funny thing, he's an ex-lawyer. So he did
Who
law.
became teacher?
And then like I think when he was like in his mid-30s or late 30s, he swapped and he became a teacher lah, career switch. So his advice to me was don't do it. Like but as in seriously, yeah, he was very serious about it. He said, don't choose teaching as your first career. That was his advice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like
his
get
advice
some
was,
life experience
yeah,
first.
he's like, go do something that you want to do. Like do something else. Like, explore the world first. Do other jobs. Like if you really think that after, you experience it for a few years and you think you still want to be a teacher, then you go apply for MOE and then go train to be a teacher. Yeah. So I mean it was sound advice lah. So I listened to him and then when I got to JC and then my second, or rather my new interest was psychology. Then I decided to psychology and then I realized I do enjoy working in the mental health field.
Okay, but education is also a possibility in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm 50 years old and then I want a career switch. Yeah.
Kristian, how about you? Is he frozen? He looks
Yeah,
frozen.
I think he's frozen.
Actually, I have another follow-up question after this, which I'm very interested to ask. But Kristian, are you there? He's moving slowly.
Okay, yeah, he's fine.
Kristian, are you there?
Yeah, sorry. The whole stream is a bit laggy for me.
Yeah, it's okay. How about you? Did
Yeah.
you have, or did you like when you 6 years old, you already knew I want to be a lawyer?
Actually, honestly, I didn't give any thought to what I wanted to do. Any thought, but I didn't give serious thought to what I wanted to do for like career-wise until I was in JC, and by then that was when I wanted to be a lawyer. But in secondary school, funnily enough, my literature teacher, whom I regard as my school mom, my second mom, she thought that I would be a good motivational speaker.
Adam Koo.
I know what you say.
I don't know why.
I know what you say.
Not quite sure how she reached that. Never explored that as an opportunity. But yeah, I thought it was quite funny
You say 3 words. Your motivational speech. Don't give chance.
It's more a lawyer, less more like advice to a lawyer
It's
when they're down in information.
an inside joke with our WoW friend. So he PvPs a lot in WoW.
Oh, that's what he always says, is it?
Yeah, with Lam and Kel, right? A couple of our friends. So when they are losing, they will start saying, okay, we don't give chance anymore. Play seriously.
That's like on CS, right? When you're like losing 16-0. Okay, time to play serious already. But you lose 20-0 in the end.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Actually, I
that's
have a question.
interesting.
I have a question for you that I never really asked you. You weren't influenced by your brother, because like your brother, became a doctor, right? And you are actually quite a few years younger than him. You're like how many years? 4 years younger than him?
5 years.
5 years. Yeah. So you would have actually seen, quite a bit of him in school. You weren't influenced by him.
I think I was influenced by him in many respects, and it really fell short of the medicine aspect. Because we talk about what we did in primary school, secondary school, JC. I literally followed his footsteps, lah, right? In terms of the specific schools you went to, in terms of our CCA, we were both in swimming, we were both captains. So in many and the leadership opportunities which we explored, all very similar, almost identical, really. But I think it was in secondary school where I was exposed to literature, exposed to a bit of performing arts, theater. That was when I realized I was more inclined towards linguistics, language more so than science.
So what you're saying is that you couldn't be an actor, so you decided to be a lawyer.
Yeah, shame. I wish I made it, but just fell short. But yeah, I mean, I didn't expect to enjoy that. It was only in secondary school where I was given those opportunities, and I was like, oh, okay, this I actually, I much prefer this. And I mean, besides that, I can't really stand the sight of blood, lah. So that rules out being a doctor. So
Yeah. Yeah. I have one more question after, but let me say mine first before I ask the one last question. Actually, I wanted to be a paleontologist.
Oh.
Do you guys know what
like
that is? Yeah,
like
like
Ross.
you dig up
Is it
like
'cause you watch Friends?
dinosaurs. No, I watch what?
Friends.
No. Oh, is that a thing in Friends?
Ross is a
Ross-
Oh,
paleontologist.
Ross is a paleontologist, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he works in a museum. He's not like a paleontologist,
Yeah.
right? But I was just very into dinosaurs. Like even dinosaurs is a phase, right? Usually like a lot of young kids like dinosaurs. But then once they hit a certain age, like they don't really care about it anymore. Like they outgrow dinosaurs. But then I'm those kind that like when I was like primary school, I would like ask my mom for like books. I would go library and borrow books on dinosaurs. And like I would read up on all the periods, which like people tell me, T-Rex that and my favorite dinosaur is this. And I'm like, no, they don't exist in the same time period.
So are you one
that
of
kind
those people that when you watch Jurassic Park, then you're like,
Yes.
the T-Rex does not belong in the Jurassic period.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
wrong. I
It's
do
a
not
Cretaceous.
enjoy this movie
It's a
anymore.
freaking Cretaceous dinosaur. What? He's not even around during this.
Because
But anyway,
I was one of those.
yeah. You are most annoying when you're a kid and you think you're the most knowledgeable person.
Because you read all the dinosaur books.
Yeah, you think you know, but yeah.
But
anyway.
then the dinosaur books, most of it is pictures. So
Yeah. Yeah. So even now to this day, like when I remember I went to like a play gym with Rebecca, and then there's like 20 dinosaurs. They're all different dinosaurs, and there was another like Angmo guy beside me, and he was like, "Look, it's like this is a Brachiosaurus. This is a Velociraptor, which is way too big. It's actually the size of a chicken.
Yep.
That kind of thing." And be like, "Wow, you
the
know a
size
lot
of
of
turkeys,
dinosaurs."
right?
Yeah, it's tiny. The Velociraptor is nothing like your
Yeah.
Jurassic Park dinosaurs.
Yep.
Okay, so that's mine. Last question before we wrap it up. If you could change your profession, like if you could like rewind back to like before university, before you studied your major, before you picked your major, would you change it? What would you change it to? I think many people got asked this question before. Would you change it to anything?
I guess I'll go first. So I'll tell you guys like a story of, not really a story, but so it's an experience at work, or experiences at work. So I do get students once in a while from like social work, psychology,
Yeah.
from poly, some from uni, and then they're normally attached to us, like the center, for like maybe 2 months, 3 months, and then on certain days they follow us out. So they observe, how we do counseling or how we work with mental health patients, and so normally when I get an intern attached to me, then I will drive lah, because it's a lot more convenient than taking the bus. If not, I'll take the bus. And when I'm driving with them, I get to like really talk to them, find out like why they
Yeah.
chose this field and all that.
HT.
Yes, and it's quite fun like to really talk to students who are like half your age. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, wow, it's really a long time ago. Like I mean, I'm entering like mid-30s, right? And then you get to talk to people who are like early 20s, or some of them are like 20 years old, 19 years old. And the advice that I always give them, if they ask for advice in like what should I do in this field, I'll be like, you shouldn't join this field.
Oh no.
So in relation to your question, I always tell them that, like I'll say, I'll be very honest with them, and then I say, like, for practicality's sake, like, because now I am a young father, right, and I have a family to feed. If I had a choice, I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't go down this route. So if you ask me, like, if I could rewind back to like uni, I would actually rewind it back even further to JC, because I did pure arts in JC. So
Yeah.
I didn't do math at all. I did lit,
Uh,
econs, and history. So that limited my options like by a lot when it went to uni lah. I think I would do something math or science related, maybe math. Yeah,
Oh,
because
okay.
purely because um the the money,
It's
I mean,
better.
yeah, the pay for social services in Singapore isn't very good. It's not terrible, but it's the lowest bracket for degree holders. Yeah, and knowing what I know now, I mean, I don't have a terrible life. I mean, look at my setup. I have dual monitors and my Omnidesk. Yeah, but I think life would be, no, okay, not better for me, but I would give my family a more comfortable life. Yeah, if I were to take a different route. Not that I don't enjoy this. I do enjoy my work, but yeah. I mean, it comes with the
Yeah.
way that
Trade-off.
society is lah. Because in Singapore, it's just not a very recognized field, or rather, it's not a very valued field as compared to our Western counterparts. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what exactly I would do, but I wouldn't go down this road again. Yeah, and
Okay.
it's something that I would tell my daughter in the future. Like, I would advise her not to do like humanities and the social sciences lah.
Oh,
Yeah, but of
okay.
course, I mean, if she likes it, then more
Yeah.
power to her lah. Yeah.
It's the practicality aspect, right? I mentioned like
Yes.
pursue what you like, but just have that backup plan in case.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
at this point in time, like after being like working for like more than 10 years, Shirley and I, we are in a pretty comfortable spot. Like, we don't have any, we're not lacking, but neither are we like able to really enjoy life. We still need to calculate our finances and all that. Yeah. Yeah lah. I mean, that's the way it is lah.
Okay. Chris, will you change?
If I could talk to my secondary school self, I'll tell him to buy Bitcoin lah. I mean,
Then you don't need to work. You just need to
yeah,
chill.
you don't need to work. No, but I think in all seriousness, I think I got lucky because I work with people who I really like my colleagues.
Yeah.
Most of whom I see as more, not just colleagues, but really friends and people who I can talk to and get along well with. And obviously, job wise, I love the intellectual rigor that comes with it. It keeps me on my toes. It's challenging.
Mm.
In as much as Chris and I like to joke, and I think every lawyer would joke and say, "Yeah, don't be a lawyer. It's like, be an investment banker, be a dentist." I mean, the reason why we're in the field means there's a draw to it, lah, right? So I think in many respects, no, I don't think actually I would change my path.
Okay. Yeah. Oh. I mean, that's the best, right? When you're in your job and you wouldn't change anything.
For you, it's different, right? Because you actually changed your path.
For me?
As in you, Ian, yeah.
Yeah. So actually, okay, not really. So I'm a missionary, but missionary is it's more like it's a title more than a job, because now you can be very different.
Some
You can
would
be
say
any
it's a
profession.
position.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Pun intended.
Okay. But anyway, so for me, what I would do, I know Maren would disagree, because I've joked about this before with her, but I would actually pursue medicine, I think, if I were to change my path. Because
And to be clear, Marianne could have pursued
Yes.
medicine, right?
But it's more like medicine wasn't even on my radar because like Christian said, I was scared of blood. But honestly, that's a very minor thing because eventually like you get over it.
Yeah.
Right. And like it's funny because Marianne Marianne's a nurse. So like the funny thing, last time I used to talk to her and she'll share with me like, some of the gross things that she sees at work and sometimes like that, right? But when we watch gory, like sometimes we'll like happen to watch a gory movie or something, like she'll be kind of grossed up by it. In like, and I'll be like, why are you grossed up by this? Like, isn't this normal for you? That you see this at work and then you see this in the
And it's
gory
fake.
scene. It's
Like,
skin.
it's fake.
But yeah, and it's fake. But she says she has like nurse mode. Like when she's on nurse mode, right? It's like, I don't know, it's like a switch, she changes and then like all of a sudden everything doesn't seem so gross anymore. Like it's just work. It's stuff that she needs to get fixed, like fix it.
So does she
But
shout?
then
Does she shout like code blue at home when she sees a?
no, no, she does. I'm glad she doesn't shout go blue. But anyway, she'll like, and then when it comes back, flip the switch, she's back to Marianne mode, and then she watches gory stuff. She's like, so I think that the reason why I would choose to be a doctor is mostly because being a doctor opens a lot of doors. Like even like I chose to become an accountant because as a missionary, being an accountant also opens doors lah. Like I always say whether you're poor, when you're broke and you're bankrupt, you need an accountant. When you're rich, you also need an accountant to count your money. So you always need accountants and auditors, whichever position you are. But that being said, you also always almost need a doctor wherever you are. So I think in that respect, I would choose to be a doctor. Although Marion says, I'm very glad that I'm not a doctor because I wouldn't have time at all for like anything else, like big family or stuff like that. So, I mean, I guess your brother is a testament to that as well. Like he's always busy, right?
I think as a doctor, time is definitely less. You have less time to explore multiple hobbies and you have to carve out time, right?
Yeah.
So I think you can still be excellent, focus on career, have a family, but you might have to give up something
Absolutely.
like
Yeah.
gaming time or weekend football with the friends.
Yeah.
But my brother's also the sort that can live on very little sleep, so he gets a lot done in his day. So there are those people as well, lah. So how about
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, definitely. I think doctors' lives are.
Yeah. But in Singapore is tough lah. Like even especially now during this COVID-19 period. I can't imagine like what healthcare is like right now. Yeah. Okay. Any last thoughts or things you wanna like revisit or go through? Maybe a secret food gem came up. You can ask Twitch chat also. Like if anybody on Twitch wants to give me a good food recommendation, right?
Yeah.
Like that, please go
Or
ahead.
anybody on Twitch that wants to join us in New World later.
Maybe I should say right in Twitch chat, right? Please try to give a restaurant with a budget of less than $50. If not, they give me, I also cannot go. Anything you guys wanna add, or you guys wanna talk about New World? Oh, I'll just ask this question: is New World dying?
Okay, so let's go into it then. Let's have 10 minutes of New World talk.
10 of words.
New World is dying in the sense that every new MMO dies.
Yeah.
Right at the start. So New World had one of the best openings of any MMO. They had a peak of 900,000 players on Steam in the first week. And like after a month, it's been out for almost, I think, just 2 months. Yeah,
2 months. Yeah.
I think it came out on September 28 or something like that. Current peak is at 130k. So in a sense, it has lost like what 80%, 70%, 75% of its players. But that's usual for any MMO, right? In fact, like it sounds bad, but if you look at like Steam's active players or peak players chart, right, New World is still in the top 5 most played game on Steam. 100 over players, concurrent players. This is not like over a period of time. It's like concurrent players in one day. You can have 100 over 1,000. Yeah, like the only better, more played games.
It's like Dota. It's like Dota and CS lah. Those are the biggest ones. Those concurrent games. Valve's actual
like
game.
CS is probably like the most. CS has like 878 peak today.
Yeah.
Just
Dota
today
also
alone.
is like 400,000.
Dota is like 600. Yeah. So New World has 177,000 today alone. which puts it at like 5th most played game today. Yeah, only like Apex Legends, PUBG, Dota, and CS has better numbers.
Yep.
So yes, you could say it's dying. And you could also say no, it's not dying because it's normal, right?
Yep.
But I think Chris will agree that as newer players, one of the reasons why it's dying is because of Amazon themselves. They have made so many mistakes in handling an MMO that you would think they would learn lessons from, like, 20 years of MMO. Like there's like WoW, there's Eve, there's EverQuest, FF14, there's Guild Wars. So there's so many stuff that they didn't think to bring over or learn from. Like, for example, I'll give you something very simple. WoW, you can change your gear set with one click of a button. So you can save like a set for raid, or a set for Mythic Plus or dungeon,
Yeah.
a set for PvP. You basically just click one button and then it changes the whole gear for you, right?
Yeah.
New
So
World
you don't
doesn't have that.
You have to equip each set
Yes.
individually.
And the worst part about New World is that they have a set for every single profession. So there are like more than 10 professions in the game. So let's say you wanna do mining, you have a mining set. You wanna cut trees, as a tree cutting set. And every time you
Okay.
wanna do something, you need to switch, like go to your inventory and then you click one by one. Yeah. And then the one other thing is that you can't even move when you're looking at inventory. You have to stay still.
What?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
it's-
auto run. Oh my
You
gosh.
can't. So it's a lot of simple things that they do very badly, and they do. It's almost like they're trying to reinvent, the MMO experience, but they made it worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's all these little things that really annoy me. But to be fair, I guess Chris can chip in after this. I'm enjoying New World because the base idea of the game is really good. Like I think I've talked about it before, right? It's the main goal of the game is to own as much territories as possible, with the help of your company. That's the PvP aspect, and then there's the PvE aspect, which is, as the same as any MMO lah. To get your gear up. Yeah. So it's this mix of PvE and PvE, plus it's not your typical MMO where you need to go and do like 20-man raids. There are no raids. Yeah. It's the end game for PvE is basically dungeons. So it's much more casual than your typical MMO lah. And the professions, the trade skills, in New World, they are really, really deep. Like the depth compared to, I don't know. I mean, I've only played WoW a lot. So I didn't really do my profession stuff in FF14. I don't know if there is. But
There is. Yeah.
I think one of our friends, like Chris, was saying, like the way like the trade skills work, it's almost like Eve, but in a medieval setting.
Different setting.
Yeah. So I can give you an example. So for example, let's say you want to do jewel crafting. You want to make earrings, necklaces, and what's the last one, Chris? Amulets, right? Yeah. So you need precious metals to
So you
make.
must take mining.
Let's say you want to make a earring. You need to make a hook and a setting, correct? Because you need to set the gem inside. And to get that, you need to mine for precious metals, which you will need mining, right? So to get high level precious metals, you need high level mining. And then after that, you need to get a gem. And to get the gem, you need to mine for the gem. Then you need to level up another profession called stone cutting to cut the gem before you set it. So it's very in-depth. It's not like WoW, where I can just power level my engineering one day to maximum.
Yeah.
So you can't do that. Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think, Chris?
I think let's talk about the flaws first, lah. Right? I mean, I think the things you highlighted, those QOL, quality of life things, you would love to see, but they're not that frustrating. The fact that they're not in the game isn't that frustrating. I think what's more frustrating is that every time they have a patch to fix something, they break something else.
Yes.
For example, I think one of the servers, that like the European servers recently,
The gold thing, right?
Yeah, like 300k, 400k gold. And okay, that's
So to give backstory about that, it's they screwed something up on the European server, on all the servers lah. But on the European servers, so basically they say, okay, everybody, you will get like some compensation. Then the compensation is like maybe 300 gold or 3,000 gold, something like that. But on the European servers, because they don't use commas and decimals the same way as the US servers do, right?
Oh my gosh.
So they gave like a whole bunch of people 300,000 gold, but it's supposed to be like maybe 3,000 gold.
Oh yeah.
You get what I mean? Because 3,000
Yeah,
dot
because
00,
France they
right?
use their commas between two zeros.
Yes, but to them, like dot is actually a comma for them.
Yeah.
So from
correct.
3,000 became like a lot more, 30,000, 20,000.
Oh no.
Some people got 300,000. Yeah, yeah. So it's things like this. Like you're like, bro, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. Also, besides the fact that, I mean, wrecking the game economy aside, right? They had to suspend like trading post, which is the auction house. So it's such a fundamental aspect of the game to, especially for an MMO, to be able to trade and sell, right? I mean, you have a highly active economy. So whenever they make these mistakes, they deprive, I feel like they try to fix other things, or the stopgap measures deprive players of enjoying other aspects of the game which are equally critical. And and this is just one example of multiple, which is over
Yeah.
a very short history of 2 months.
Yep.
So that part is especially frustrating.
I feel like they've made as many mistakes as WoW has made in like half of their lifespan within 2 months.
Yeah.
And I think the other damning evidence is that people went to like dig up their the developers
Source code.
LinkedIn and all that, like the developers, their history and all that. Like most of them have no experience in MMOs. Like they're coders, but they have never worked on like MMOs or games, even on games. Yeah. So a lot of them are like new to coding a game. Yeah. And the worst part is that the whole engine that New World runs on, right? It's actually a new engine. It's called Lumberjack. Yeah. So the code is called Lumberjack, and it runs on the Azov engine. Yeah. I mean, Chris, if you get the joke, that's why there's not enough resources, because Azov is always limited in the game. So Azov in the game is used to teleport around and to craft, but you can only carry a cap of 1,000 Azov, and like to teleport from one city to another city can cost up to like 300 to 500 Azov if you're carrying a lot of stuff.
So that's how you run, right?
Yeah, so you spend a lot of time running
With no mounts.
So I think like that's one of the things that makes us kind of dulan with the game. Like we're pretty angry about it. But the saving grace is that we do have a pretty strong small community of about 10 of us, like that, around 10.
But my question is that, like, you can imagine that if this trend continues, most of you will probably leave.
We are waiting for news on server mergers, and then we'll decide lah.
Yeah, and also like because MMOs live and die by content.
Yes,
right?
correct.
Like there's no additional content that is fun and engaging. Nobody will play.
So the end game content, the end game loop in New World is quite weak. And they time gate a lot of stuff. So for example, the two end game dungeons that you can enter, right? You have to craft a key to enter the dungeons. And the crafting of the key requires you to grind and farm quite a bit. And the worst part is that they kept the number of keys you can craft a week. So the best one, you can only craft 1 a week. And the second best one, you can only craft 3 a week. But
so it's artificial gating lah.
Yes, but the thing is that the amount of time taken to craft even one key is a lot. Yeah. So I guess for us, the good thing is that we are not like super hardcore, right? Because all of us are quite casual. I mean, we only really play at night, maybe for like a couple of hours. So in that sense, the time gating or that doesn't really affect us as much. But I can understand if you're a hardcore gamer that plays like 10 hours a day, you'll be like, you'll be unhappy with the gating, the time gating. Yeah.
Okay. So there you go. That's New World.
Yep. It's basically a dumpster on fire that we are still happy to play with.
Yeah, you're not. You're just frolicking in the dumpster. Yeah. Everything's on fire. Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. If not, thank you, Kristian, for coming. It was really fun to chat about life, and maybe next time you join. I would say it's very interesting. Like I think the most exciting episodes in the future will be when we talk to our spouses, our partners, because I think they give a fresh perspective on life
so the
and
next
what
episode, episode 10. Milestone episode 10. We are planning to have Marian and Sherilyn on.
Sherilyn, yeah. Complain about our gaming habits. That should be fun.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. If not, thank you guys. Thank you all everybody on Twitch and who are listening to us on podcast as well. Thank you for coming. We'll see you guys next time on the Two Gamer Dads
hit the
podcast.
follow
See ya.
button. Bye.
Yeah. Smash that like and subscribe button. Is that what they say?